Hey, what's going on, guys? Max, welcome back to another show and episode, another reaction. Today we are reacting to an interesting video here. We're going to be reacting to the meaning of every Slipknot mask explained. I've always wondered why they wore the masks that they did, so definitely going to check this video out. It's about 12 minutes and 45 seconds, and we reacted to a couple of Slipknot videos on the channel, so I thought, why not go and react to this? It kind of just popped up as one of the videos when I was looking up stuff, so here we are, and let's get right into it, shall we?
Slipknot is not the first band to wear a costume or elaborate face paint, but after over 20 years, their masks are an essential part of the band. The disturbing masks represent their intense music and explicit lyrics, and offer a view of the darker side of each musician's personality. Before the formation of Slipknot, two of the founding members of the band, Anders Kolsefni and Sean Cran, became friends in the early 90s. The duo met at gigs from the same metal scene in Des Moines, Iowa. However, the two also got along well because they played a role-playing game called Werewolf: The Apocalypse, which was more violent and less popular than the well-known RPG Dungeons & Dragons. Unlike D&D, the Werewolf franchise focuses on a horror theme, with main characters being werewolves and vampires. For both musicians, a major appeal of the game was that it was possible to become something else. In the book Slipknot, All Hope Is Gone by Joel McIver, Kolsefni says, "The attraction was being able to play a different person, to be able to do something different. This was the founding of Slipknot. That was it, right there." After the band was created, this mentality was carried over into their first gig on December 4th, 1995. Kolsefni says that from the very beginning, Slipknot performances have generated what he says is a primal feeling. "I'm transformed into an animal, and that's the reason we wear what we do on stage."
Interesting.
In January 1996, Sean Cran was rummaging through boxes of his stuff in the basement when he came across an old clown mask of his that he had not seen in 10 years. The percussionist then decided to wear the old clown mask during a practice session with the band, and that changed everything. The drummer enjoyed wearing the clown mask so much that he wanted to keep wearing it regardless of what the others wanted, even during shows. Cran recalls that there was some pushback from his bandmates. He said, "A few of them were like, 'No way. You can't be the only guy wearing some stupid mask.' So I said, 'I really don't care what you think. This is who I am, and this is what I'm going to do.' So here we are, all these years later." After Cran and Anders Kolsefni wore masks for a few performances, the rest of the band eventually gave in and agreed to do the same. Corey Taylor explained, "We started from day one knowing we had to evolve, knowing that we had to stay relevant, and one of the things we knew we had to do was find ways to look like a unit and do it in a way that didn't feel forced."
See?
All right.
That's how I signed my contract.
Oh yeah, that's how you signed your contract. That's wonderful.
Masks became such a part of Slipknot's identity that the fans never saw the musicians' faces. Photographer Paul Harries took numerous pictures of the band and was frequently asked by fans if he had ever seen their faces, and even asked if the members actually had real faces. Eventually, as the band grew in popularity, some of the members became much more lax with showing their faces, especially Corey Taylor and Sean Cran. As his side project, Stone Sour, became more well-known, not only was Taylor's face seen more often, but also Slipknot guitarist Jim Roots. The quieter members of Slipknot have remained more elusive than the rest, like Craig Jones and Chris Fenn, but pictures of their faces can also easily be found on the internet these days. Corey Taylor is one of the Slipknot band members who changes masks more than the others, and he does so because he believes it reflects how people change over time.
Interesting.
According to Kerrang! Radio, the singer says, "People like me, Clown, Sid Wilson, and a couple of others, we change ours drastically. Nobody stays the same over time. That's my belief." In the early days, Taylor wore a bondage mask, but had issues because of his dreadlocks, which he threaded through holes cut in the mask. After a year of this, the singer did not like what was happening to his hair, so he severed his dreads and attached them to the mask, creating his signature look for both the band's self-titled and Iowa albums. By the All Hope Is Gone album cycle in 2008, Taylor released an entirely new, almost featureless face mask, arguably more eerie for its blank expression. The singer's last two masks have also been quite unique, with almost no connection to his previous masks.
I love the fact that every mask was different because it represented a different person. It wasn't all linear and just kind of thrown together.
Like Corey Taylor, the masks of Sean Cran have changed a lot over the years. However, they've all been variations of the clown theme that he's had from the beginning.
Obviously,
the
like,
clown persona has become...
they're very very unique because they're very scary. You know what I'm saying? You don't usually like expect like a band to be like wearing this type of mask. Another like band that wears masks is Alex the Terrible's band. They also wear masks, and they can, some of them are scary. So
such a part of Cran's identity that his nickname is Clown. And even though he doesn't wear the original mask during shows anymore, the drummer still has and cherishes the mask that started it all. Cran was initially drawn to the mask at a Halloween store many years earlier while walking in the mall with his girlfriend. He was supposed to buy lunch, but instead, he spent all of his money on the clown mask. In an interview with the BBC, Cran said, "I had gotten a version of this mask when I was 14. I just never knew why it was in my world, but it was always around me." He continued,
and then one day, it just so happened, it was that moment of clarity to decide what I wanted to project.
He went on to say of his mask, "This thing has no limits." When it came time for the intimidating guitarist to choose, Mick Thompson initially went for the look of the iconic hulking mass murderer Jason Voorhees from the classic horror franchise Friday the 13th. This meant that he easily found a hockey mask at the store, but it involved very little imagination. So, after wearing the hockey mask for the cover of their first album in 1999, he exchanged it for a black leather mask that shortly after had his own metallic design. Thompson's masks
looks
have
like the
all been
Undertaker.
based on his original hockey mask idea, albeit with some major tweaks to incorporate his own style. The guitarist's masks have evolved, but for over a decade, the changes have been minor, so his signature look has remained relatively the same during the last few album cycles. The metallic grill over the mouth is something he stuck with and made his own, yet it's also the way his newer masks are linked to the original. As one of the band members who has modified his mask the least, Thompson summed up his feelings on the matter when he said, "If you know who you are, you don't need change. I think I pretty much nailed it with this one, for being able to get across how I am." Originally, like all new Slipknot members, Jim Root did not choose a mask and instead was given the black bondage mask of the member he replaced, Josh Brainerd. But the inherited mask was simply too difficult to play in, and Root wanted a mask of his own, so he discarded the hand-me-down almost immediately. To represent his mischievous character, the guitarist now usually wears a type of jester mask. The group also had a role in the decision because Root said in a radio interview, "The guys chose this mask to tame me. I was a timid guy before I joined this band. Now, I'm a freak."
damn.
Like Mick Thompson, Root's masks have remained very similar to the mask he wore during the release of the album Iowa back in 2001. Both musicians seem to firmly believe that there is no reason to fix something that isn't broken. Craig Jones's first mask was basically just underwear over his face until he got more creative for the release of Slipknot's first album. Now Jones is known for his mask with nails sticking out of it, similar to Hellraiser's Pinhead. The sampler initially stuck the nails to an old helmet and added a flashlight as well. However, he switched it up to a spiked leather mask for the release of Iowa. Since Jones is notorious for his silence during interviews, he also put a zipper on his mouth slit that he could slowly zip shut with glee when asked to speak. From then on, Jones's bondage pinhead look has become his own, and the only real
Damn.
change is that the nails have gotten longer. The masks of Sid Wilson have changed more than the masks of any of his other bandmates. Over the years, the DJ went from a standard gas mask for Slipknot's first album to a skull-shaped gas mask for Iowa, then a stylized skull for Volume 3, The Subliminal Verses, and a robotic mask for All Hope Is Gone in 2008. Wilson made sure that it was somewhat functional and included adjustable eyebrows to display his desired expressions, and fully leaned into the Transformers look in 2012. More recently, for the last two album cycles in 2014 and 2019, Wilson has worn a hood with creepy teeth, first with metallic eyes, and with the most recent mask looking more like he's wearing the skin of a human than any previous mask. Chris Fenn is notorious for wearing a long Pinocchio-like nose on his masks that he says reflects his comedic personality. It is common to see the drummer rub the nose in a vulgar manner during performances. When
Why did my
discussing
nose
his
start
first
itching?
mask, Fenn noted of the mask's zipper, "I chose it for the bondage factor. For the Volume 3, the Subliminal Verses era, the drummer's mask had the fascinating characteristic of often changing colors. The mask first looked like it had started to rust and then eventually became all red. Ven's masks changed very little with only minor alterations. Sometimes he wore a hood over the back of his head while he did not for other album cycles. Ven used the same mask for Slipknot's self-titled debut album and Iowa, and the drummer noted how bad of an idea that was due to how bad the mask ended up smelling. Early on, bassist Paul Gray wore a Halloween pig mask that the band said was a reflection on his character flaw of self-indulgence. However, a rival band, Mushroomhead, accused him of stealing their look, so Gray modified his subsequent masks to be more human in style. While the mask for Iowa still retained a vaguely pig-like look, the black mask he wore in the Volume 3 The Subliminal Verses cycle lost that trait, and instead had a Hannibal Lecter-looking design with nails that made a grill over the mouth. Before Gray tragically passed away in 2010, the bassist featured two different masks for a couple of years during the All Hope Is Gone era. Both retained the Hannibal Lecter style of the previous mask, but one had a paint smear and the other had small cracks to differentiate them.
Ads. Ads. Ads.
As a child, Joey Jordison was creeped out by the blank look of Japanese kabuki masks after he witnessed his mother wearing one when she came home from a Halloween party. Jordison kept this style for his masks throughout his years with the band, only with slight alterations. The drummer's last mask for the All Hope Is Gone cycle was the most creative, appearing like a demonic Christ with a crown of thorns and stitches across the face.
Damn.
Even though the blank expression of the kabuki masks frightened him the most as a kid, it became one of his favorite features as an adult. As Jordison noted, "You feel however you want to feel, scary, evil, or perverted, all those things held in one mask." But like other members, the drummer had issues playing in the masks, saying, "It's very difficult to play in the masks sometimes. You feel like you're locked in hell." Sadly, Jordison passed away in July 2021. After Paul Gray's tragic death and Joey Jordison's emotional exit from Slipknot, bassist Alessandro Venturella and drummer Jay Weinberg replaced them in the band. But out of respect for the former members, the masks they were given were less creative than those of their bandmates. Both masks appeared as corpse-like faces with a pentagram on the forehead. After Chris Ven's departure from Slipknot in 2019, he was quickly replaced by a drummer who is believed to be Michael Pfaff of Sean Cran's side project, Dirty Little Rabbits, says Alternative Press. Yet, the band attempted to keep his identity secret, so he was simply known as Tortilla Man, due to the look of the basic mask he was provided with. Similar to the masks of Venturella and Weinberg, it has a zipper mouth and looks like decaying skin, and resembles a tortilla.
Nice.
In the most recent round of Slipknot masks, Alessandro Venturella and Jay Weinberg have been allowed to wear masks that are entirely their own. This is especially beneficial for the new bassist, whose mask plays tribute to Paul Gray's with a pig look, but also incorporates his own samurai design. On the other hand, Corey Taylor's mask ended up being a huge letdown after all the hype leading up to its release. Renowned makeup artist and special effects master Tom Savini helped design and create the mask, so there was a lot of built-up excitement and expectations for greatness. Instead, the high hopes were quickly dashed once the mask was revealed, with many posters on Reddit and other platforms ridiculing it for its comically large cheeks and chipmunk look. Check out one of our newest videos right here, plus even more grunge videos.
You know who that is. Anyways, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Obviously, a super interesting video. I like kind of watching these like educational kind of videos, because like I've always wondered why they wore the mask that they did. So thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys did enjoy, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.